Welcome back to the show. Check out these headlines. Crypto is at an all-time high, ladies and gentlemen. Morgan Stanley recommending crypto now. We'll tell you how much. And how about no tax on crypto? It's already happening somewhere. Will it happen here too? Somebody roll that beautiful intro so we can find out.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and DigPerspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, $4.36 trillion market cap for cryptocurrency. The market's up 1.2%, but more importantly, we're rocking new all-time highs right now in real time. That's what we're doing. Right now, Bitcoin 124,500 plus, and it hit 125,000 plus, creating a new all-time high for Bitcoin. And this has got me excited because I own some. It's also got me excited because I don't know that this is over yet. I think we still have a lot of room for upside when it comes to the whole market and Bitcoin. 4,500 plus for Ethereum. XRP number 3 spots 301. We're off 0.2 on the 24. We're up 5.3 on the 7-day. Let's look at the range of price between 295 and 306. We will keep an eye on it, ladies and gentlemen. iTrustCapital, that's what I want to tell you about. And the new premium custody accounts. Listen, if you haven't checked out the IRAs, they have the best crypto, gold, and silver IRAs on the planet. And everything that you can buy, all the cryptos you can buy on the platform, you get all the same access and the physical gold and silver in the PCA. Look, I tell you, this is a remarkable opportunity on both fronts. So whether you want to do the IRA or the PCA, why would you do both? One, the IRA is for your retirement. So you want to have that straight. Number two is the premium custody account. And if you're a long-term holder in this space, this account was created specifically for you. Why? Because it has a closed loop system and it's designed that way to help protect each and every one of us from bad actors if we were to do something wrong on our end of the equation. And that's what's important here is that iTrust is always going out of their way to try to think, how can we help our customers stay safe with their assets? And this is what they've put together here. All you have to do is click the link below, itrustcapital.com/XRPArmy, and check it out for yourself. I think you're going to love it. And then you're going to find out that there's obviously staking opportunities they've already started doing on the IRAs and other stuff. So don't mess around. Things are happening so quickly in this space, and certainly with iTrustCapital, you're going to want to take advantage of it. Click the link below and get started today. Let's pick it up right here. Bitcoin crossed, as we talked about, above the $125,000 mark over the weekend. Today, for the first time, it's the 17th $1,000 milestone of the year, saying basically it's come up $17,000 inside of a year. That's what's going on with Bitcoin. And just history speaking here, when Bitcoin has its run and then it cools off, typically that's when alt season begins. So getting excited about that too. And then bullish here, $1.3 trillion Morgan Stanley Global Investment Committee recommends allocating 2 to 4% of client portfolios to crypto and says Bitcoin is a scarce asset comparable to digital gold. How about that one? This is how it starts. This is how it starts. And one day, just like DAI says here, one day it will be 30 to 40% in blue chip digital assets, but in essence, 100% of their portfolio will be in crypto because the world will be tokenized. That is the answer right there. And you can see how things will phase in over time, just as we witnessed for the last 8+ years here. And this adds to Bitcoin's demand. Take a listen to JD Vance when he was at the last Bitcoin conference. Take a listen.
I actually think that where Bitcoin is going is as a strategically important asset for the United States over the next decade. It's one of the reasons why President Trump, with the help of our great AI guy, David Sachs, it's one of the reasons why we started the Bitcoin Reserve, because we want to start to put in motion the strategic importance of Bitcoin for the United States government. We know that the PRC doesn't like Bitcoin. The People's Republic of China doesn't like Bitcoin. Well, we should be asking ourselves, why is that? Why is our biggest adversary such an opponent of Bitcoin? And if the Communist Republic of China is leaning away from Bitcoin, then maybe the United States ought to be leaning into Bitcoin.
Yeah, I agree with that, especially if a three-letter agency created it like I believe. So let's get to this point. So Satoshi's wallet is now worth over $135 billion. This would make him the ninth richest person on earth. I hold Bitcoin. Serious question. Will the U.S. government confiscate Satoshi's bag and put it in a strategic reserve? It would be one hell of a head start to building that strategic reserve, and it would bring security to investors that no one will open it and dump on the market someday. It's not such a stretch if you believe a three-letter agency created it like I do. In fact, they would already have the keys to Satoshi's wallet. Think of it for a moment. Now let's listen to this. Monica Long dropped some fire a few days ago, and I don't think I got a chance to get to it, so I'm going to get to it right now. Now we know Real USD is launched, Real USD is growing, and we also get a real feel out here that Real USD is also sitting back on the sidelines waiting for the institutions to take deep, deep positions in it. Now, we know that that's Ripple's stablecoin. And here's what she has to say. Monica Long, the president of Ripple, says stablecoin payments are all over banks, payment companies, earning calls, and crypto Twitter. What gives? Well, payments is finally getting the full embrace of both TradFi and DeFi as a killer use case for blockchain. The trend, stablecoin flurry. Do we need 100 USD stablecoins? Oh, here, did you hear? She's asking the question. We've asked this a bunch here too. Do we need 100 USD stable coins? Remember, the whole idea is to have so many private issuers that they soak up the bonds so we can come out of the petrodollar agreement. Many lack clear use case and appear driven by FOMO. Reminds me of NFT fever of 2021. Go, Monica. Some have real use cases like interbank payments or customer loyalty. For some issuers, managing their own reserves or owning the brand may be important. For others, issuing their stablecoin isn't worth the burden of managing the asset. Regulatory compliance and building liquidity and distribution, it's an expensive undertaking. Trend 2, stablecoin payment network pop-ups. Remember Circle? Oh, we're going to launch our own payment network now that we did an IPO. Some with brand name partners. Don't be fooled. Sounds like a shot at USDC. Before you sign on, ask how onboarding fees and reconciliation work. Think about this. If the network provider is unlicensed, they've daisy chained partners together, so you still have the headaches of correspondent banking. But hey, on a blockchain. Oh, go Monica. Build your own blockchain. True. Payments require certain features and functionality, but there are public layer 1 and 2 chains that serve payments well, like XRP Ledger. For new chains to succeed, they'll require major capital investment and years of heavy lifting to achieve decentralization, build sufficient liquidity, and develop the infrastructure to work for payments. Monica is laying it down here. The stablecoin wars have begun, and it reminded me of this comment from Brad Garlinghouse on stage at the Collision Conference just a year or two ago. Take a listen to this right here.
I'm not sure is the short answer. I think stable coins as a category, I think, have a role to play, particularly in domestic settlement. I haven't yet seen exactly where the U.S. is going to come out here. Other countries around the world clearly are doing more ahead of the U.S. and how they're kind of approaching central bank issued digital assets. What's confusing to me is why do we need 10 different US dollar stable coins or 20? I mean,
you hear that? Why do we need all those? When we know that the strategy, in short, is to have the private stablecoin issuers soak up the bonds so we can unwind the petrodollar agreement and no longer be beholden to just other countries for that regard. So this gets interesting. It sounds like they're clearly positioned to say, hey, we can handle all the volume. Just let us issue it. That would make Ripple the new Fed now, wouldn't it? Now, wouldn't it? Oh boy. Now listen to Caitlin Long here talking to Scott Melker. Take a listen. Her agenda doesn't allow her to say it, but I will. Tokenized treasuries on the XRP ledger. This is a fact.
And U.S. Treasury is in a position where if it decides to pull that trigger and start issuing T-bills on Ethereum or Solana, just like the SEC chair, Paul Atkins, is saying they're going to start letting securities be issued. Holy cow.
These topics, it's about to get so crazy.
It is, though, Scott. I think the next 5 years are going to be so much fun because the amount of change that's coming is just staggering. And it's great. It's great for the end user. It's great for the end consumer. It's going to be bringing down the cost of financial services. There's going to be a massive consolidation wave in the banking industry because those that don't future-proof their business are going to have to sell out to those that did. So it's an incredible opportunity for the really tech-forward banks.
It really is. She's not wrong. But I agree with DAI here. She's also avoiding, because of her own personal agenda, the fact that we are already seeing U.S. Treasuries tokenized on the XRP ledger in conjunction with BlackRock and Ondo Finance. Let me tell you what else they're doing too. That big deal that she made about stocks being tokenized, Ondo Ripple partner, they're doing that too. 100 plus tokenized stocks and ETFs go live on Ethereum. Obviously a defining moment, which RLUSD can be used as well. Look, there's a reason that Ripple made a connection and a bridge over to Ethereum. And I think it is to eventually create a mass exodus to get the developers who've been struggling to build on that network for a long time to a better place. That's what I believe. And I believe that you'll see a lot of ERC20 tokens because they say it's very easy to create them on the network. And just like AOL emails handles are still around today, but AOL isn't. I think that's the way ERC20 tokens are going to be. And then no one really uses the ETH network except maybe to create a token and then involve themselves on all the other chains. That's just my thought on the matter. Now, over the weekend, we talked again about the U.S. shutdown, the government shutdown. And I said here, the U.S. modernization of U.S. Treasury payment system implementation was to begin on September 30th, and the U.S. government shut down on October 1st. Now, in order to upgrade my computer at my home, I have to reboot it. Yeah. While the U.S. government, will the U.S. government be on the XRP ledger and other protocols once the shutdown is over? Asking for a few of my friends. And then hear this, the U.S. national debt rises by $6 billion daily. Nearly 38 trillion with projections to surpass that mark in just 20 days. Issuing digital asset bonds can play a role in helping to acquire assets while offsetting the debt. Don't believe it, it's still true. I think we need to have a bill passed that allows the U.S. Treasury to issue U.S. digital asset bonds for Bitcoin, XRP, XLM, ADA, Solana, and others. And this will help them acquire the assets of the new digital on-chain economy, which will be worth enormous amounts of money because of the level of utility and liquidity on the networks. And then they can do a revenue share with the bond issuance, and you won't crash the market because you'll be able to liquidate as the bonds of different term rates roll over. So I think this is an excellent way to move forward and acquire things without costing the taxpayer, but yet revenue share with the taxpayer. So then we have this, ladies and gentlemen. Thailand now offers zero capital gains tax on Bitcoin traded on national exchanges. How about that? No tax on crypto. If Thailand can do it, the U.S. can do it for U.S. domiciled assets too. That's where I'm stuck, and I'm still stuck here. Take a listen to my conversation with one of the first employees at Ripple. This is Greg Kidd himself, who came from the Federal Reserve, invested in Twitter, invested in SquarePay, and so many other things. This guy is the real deal.
There's that saying, a coward, what's the difference between a coward and a hero? And like, well, a hero is a coward that doesn't have any other options. So I guess they have to be a hero, right? Yeah. So once you see yourself in that situation, then risk begins to invert itself, and you think about the risk of not taking a risk.
Well, and speaking of that, and I think that's so well said. Speaking of that, looking where we are right now, again, stablecoin legislation, some are saying it could be here as soon as April. Some are saying we could have stablecoin legislation, no tax on crypto, a market infrastructure bill, all done by August.
I mean, Greg, you know, I just want your thoughts here for a second, because I'm sitting here thinking, if U.S. domiciled assets become no cap gains, which, by the way, as an example, if you're going to be using Solana, ADA, and XRP to make payments, it certainly doesn't make sense to have cap gains on that asset if you want the world to use it in finance, right? But it also does something else in my mind, Greg. It is like the biggest calling card for everyone to come on to those protocols specifically, because they're cap gains free, because you are going to move payments. They are incentivizing the world to understand that these protocols are going to help move the value of the world. Am I seeing this off kilter here?
Well, it certainly makes it much more likely that crypto can be used for payments, because without that, I mean, I worked and built the first crypto debit card. The hassle with that was every time you bought a cup of coffee, it was either a capital gain or a capital loss. And, you know, it's an accounting nightmare to drink a cup of coffee. And obviously that's not good for the economy. But come on, if it's just an incidental usage, like for payments, I don't think we should be paying capital gains on all that. It's just an accounting nightmare. And it just basically misunderstands what the use of those tokens is for, which is they can be a means of exchange. They're not just there for like a store of value.
I completely agree. And when I think about where we are, you know, the old adage, he who has the gold makes the rules. You know, right. I heard Chris Giancarlo say one time, he said, he who has the gold makes the rules, but he who controls the payment rails runs the world. And when I think about the idea of doing zero cap gains on those particular U.S. domiciled assets, I start to realize just how important that is to incentivize those value protocols. Because everybody's thinking about, oh, I won't have to pay the cap gains on my gain, you know, my assets. But the real power of this is incentivizing the world to get on those protocols, I believe, because that is about control of the world right there. That's my thought on it.
Look, when I worked at the Fed 20 years ago, we had to have a serious debate over whether your bonus miles, you know, your United or American bonus miles were money. And like that question came up. What if, you know, your miles go up in value or go down in value? Is that a capital gain? Is it a capital loss? And eventually somebody just in the room just had to say, come on, guys, like, don't we have something better to do than like running around? And look, the stuff of overcomplicating human activity with like arcane accounting rules. I mean, give me a break, okay? Just there is some precedent here for common sense. I know we went through a period where common sense was uncommon, and now we're at a point where maybe rules are uncommon. But I think on these matters, just common sense can prevail.
And he's absolutely right. And that's why, listen, remember this. We're still waiting for a crypto tax bill for the United States. Will the U.S. domiciled digital assets be zero cap gains to encourage mass adoption of U.S. payment rails? Will it be for retail and institutions, just for institutions and payment providers? Is it just a pipe dream? Or is this the pathway to fair use tax? I really am curious about this, and I think we should move to a fair use tax. There's no need for anyone to be saving documents for end of the year if we're all going to be on chain. Every XRP holder feels it. The silent storm building underneath. Patience is the weapon. Timing is the kill shot. I believe it. Right here. Eggrag Crypto. XRP analysis. Potential drops below cycle tops. Here's what I know right here. If you check out what he's got, the silver lining, even at current prices as of October 25, it might represent your bear market bottom. And if that's the case, we're already sitting above that channel. So I like this for us. And if this top of this channel becomes support, well, I think we're getting ready to have a great Q4. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. We'll have to see what happens here. We're going into the freedom zone, ladies and gentlemen. And you're going to want to join us. We're going to talk about the economy collapse. And we're also going to talk about the media, false flags, and who's taking over. We need to be paying very close attention. Mass censorship may be another wave headed towards us all. We're going inside the Freedom Zone. You can join too. Click the link underneath the video and come on in.